What's up, everybody? Hopefully all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really easy crock pot recipe, and that is my Southern style smothered chicken. Let's get into it. To start, we're going to take our chicken that's already been cleaned really well and kind of pat it dry with a paper towel, and I'm going to use all of the pieces except for the wings. I'm saving that for something else. But the pieces are so large I could actually cut the breasts in half. So we had 8 pieces total, and I wanted to make sure they were all the same size. Now I'm going to season up the chicken with some of my Grand Diamond all-purpose seasoning, which you guys can check out at gdseasoning.com, of course, along with this recipe. To the seasoning, I also added some poultry seasoning, a little bit of kosher salt, granulated garlic, and some black pepper to give it that extra kick that I wanted. Oh, and I also added some smoked paprika so it could give the chicken a little bit of color. The same seasonings were also added to about a half a cup of flour, and I'm just going to lightly dredge the chicken in a very thin coat of flour. Now I have some hot oil in a cast iron skillet over medium-high heat. It's about a half of an inch deep, and we're just going to brown the chicken on all sides. Now, because I cut the chicken kind of oddly, the breast is cut in half, you need to still make the attempt to brown the chicken on all sides, even if you have to tilt it one way for a few minutes and tilt it the other way for another 5 or 6 minutes. Make sure all sides are browned up really well. And I'm going to add my onions and celery and just cook those for about 5 minutes until they get soft. Next, I'm going to take a nice heaping 1/3 cup measurement of all-purpose flour and stir that into the hot oil and onions and celery. I'm just going to stir up my roux until it gets to the desired color that I want. One of the key things you need to always remember when you're cooking a roux, whatever color your roux is going to be the color of your dish. Also, if you're wondering if your flavor base has to be celery and onions, it doesn't. It could be just onions. It could be onions, celery, and bell pepper. Whatever you want will do. Really a nice base. And of course, I am going to use some garlic. I never really pass up garlic in gravy, ever. So I'm just going to add that now and stir it around for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add my chicken broth. Just to let you guys know, I just switched pots only because I knew when I started to make the gravy, the cast iron skillet wouldn't be big enough. Next, go ahead and season up your gravy any way you like. I added some more poultry seasoning, a little black pepper, and some paprika. No salt though, because I was going in with a fully salted chicken stock. So to me, I didn't need any more salt, but go ahead and season to taste. Now I'm letting that gravy come up to a full boil. Now you always want to let gravies come up to a full boil because you want to see how thick they're going to be. It is only when a gravy comes up to a full boil will you then know how thick the gravy is actually going to be. Here's some other notes that I think you need to know. When you're cooking chicken that has been coated with flour like we are, the gravy can be on the thinner side to start with because the flour from that chicken is going to leach into the gravy during the cooking process, making it thicker. All right, so be aware of that. Now, for those of you who want to adjust this recipe and simply brown the chicken without any flour and a minimal amount of oil, then your gravy will need to start at the desired consistency after it's made. All right, check the thickness, let it come up to a boil. If you like it, then that's the gravy and consistency you'll roll with. Now, as far as this recipe goes, I tried to make sure I took a lot of the guesswork out of it for you, so the gravy consistency is right there in the middle. So whether you follow through and flour your chicken or not, you should be fine. To keep us from having to turn on the oven during this hot summer, we're going to move over to our crock pot and combine the chicken and the gravy, and we're going to cook it on high for 3 hours or on low for 6 hours. And when it's done, there you go. You got a nice gravy. Your chicken is tender, ready to eat. Now, if I do say so myself, this smothered chicken was really good. And then I served it over some nice hot fluffy rice with some herbs in it. And that'll give it a taste of brightness in the background. And don't cook this without poultry seasoning. That poultry seasoning really just pushes those flavors through. And then you pour over more gravy, of course. You got plenty in that pot. And hopefully you guys will enjoy this recipe. Have a good Sunday dinner without turning on that hot oven this summer. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and cooking with me. You know I appreciate it when you come and hang out. Don't forget this recipe and others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you guys next time.